recorded and may be accessed by WebEx. The meeting link is on the calendar at burlington.org. One board member is remote. Is he?
He's not here at all.
Well, maybe remote. Yeah, no,
he's not coming at all.
Okay, he told me he wasn't sure.
Yeah, he told me not.
So if he's not, we don't need roll call votes. If Jeremy shows up, will you let me know, and we'll switch to roll call votes. If connectivity is lost and we have a quorum in person, which we do, the meeting will continue. Would you please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're a little short on people tonight. Jeremy's in Germany. Dr. Conti is online. So we don't have a warrant tonight, I don't believe. Okay. Approval of the minutes from October 22nd. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, I'm going to assume that Jeremy's not on unless you tell me otherwise, okay?
I'm abstaining, Chris.
You what?
Abstaining?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 3-0. No, yeah, 3-0-1. Okay. Public participation, is there anyone online? There's no one here. Any hands? No?
No hands.
A student report. Rashida.
Yes. Okay, so some updates for each of the classes. The seniors booked their DJ for prom and homecoming, and homecoming is next week on the 22nd. They're planning to start up babysitting nights again in December, and they're going to be holiday themed, so any parents who watch this, please sign up for that.
Oh, very nice.
The juniors are planning a talent show and stand-up comedy in the auditorium, and sophomores they're planning a fundraiser selling holiday-themed wreaths, so look out for that. And then the freshmen are planning on doing a movie night, and they're planning decorations for the pep rally. That's it.
Okay, and it sounds like a lot of fun stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions or comments?
Sounds fun.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Subcommittee reports. Are there any subcommittee reports? Anything on? No. No. Moving on. Ways and Means. Is there anyone online from Ways and Means? Nope. Other announcements? Can't think of. Oh, well, no. The little cheerleaders won. They're probably headed to Disney, but that's really not school, I guess. Learning, Equity, and Thriving. Spanish exchange program. Lisa, do you want to tell us about it, or
Yes.
should we bother Eric?
Or Dr. Conti, how would you like to proceed, sir?
Lisa, go ahead.
Okay. This has been in its fifth iteration of this program. And as you can see, this is during our last trip, we had about 30 BHS students and 30 Spanish students come from us. And the BHS students in Spain are going to be going from February 6th to 22nd. And the Spaniards in the United States will be from March 13th to March 28th. It's approximately $1,900 per student, but our students will be able to experience Madrid, Granada, Toledo, Sojavia, and all of the school days. Our students will be attending classes with their Spanish peers. And likely there are 4 American staff and 3 Spanish staff. And this is part of our cultural school exchange. Students will live with a Spanish family and follow a student to engage fully in the Spanish way of life and with the Spanish language. They will have field trips to Madrid, Segovia, and a trip to Toledo, and a weekend trip to Granada.
Sounds exciting. All the school committee members want to be chaperones,
Okay.
and if they let us, we'll approve it.
But we recommend that, the recommendation is that for this committee vote on the Spanish exchange program for 2024-2025 school year.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move that we support the Spanish exchange program for the 2024-2025 school year.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Anyone have any discussion on this?
I just have a question. What grade are they? Juniors?
They are,
All grades? Or?
I don't have that, but they're high school students, but I can find out what grade level they are.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
But I will find out and get back to you tomorrow.
Anything else? Right, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? That's 400. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the BEF Award.
And this is just to let you know that Mr. Tim Kettering, the Burlington High School Band Progression Director, he applied for and was awarded the BFF grant for music production, sound engineering, and film scoring. And the grant is in the amount of $14,189.44. And I think that this is going to be a wonderful award. I know that the students are excited about this. They're going to learn, engage, and explore the world of music technology industry using cutting-edge technology to score their films themselves. It's a great opportunity. Any of the BHS students are encouraged to participate and create. This will be taught during formal class during the academic day, and it will also be an entry-level club outside of school hours of BHS. And they will be able to create products such as songs, commercials, movies, and television shows.
Sounds great. Any comments?
I have a general comment of the BEF. I had a teacher reach out to me last year that wanted to apply, and they were very confused on the process and weren't getting anything back from the BEF. I understand it's under new leadership, but can you just make sure that all the teachers know how to access and apply for grants?
And one of the things we did is Dr. Conti and I, we actually met with the founders early on. And she said that they're very excited about it. And since then, we have, all the principals are aware of it. And we have sent out their website. And what I have seen thus far, just to let you know, is that every single grant that has come through, they have received funding on it thus far this year.
Okay, awesome.
All right. Moving on, the field subcommittee recommendations, are we postponing that, Eric?
I think Bob can give some background on it. I think we'll have the conversation at a future time.
Okay.
But Bob, do you want to just sort of provide some background on that?
Sure. At our recent MSMS field committee meetings, Mr. Brooks had expressed his interest in exploring the scheduling, right? That's been brought up since, members of the committee, knowing that a new turf field is coming into play. And there have been concerns about youth sports and even recreation sports getting on the field later. Typically right now, high school athletics gets out right after school, and typically till about 5:30 or 6 o'clock, they're on the field, and then other groups can get on after that. While it's not explicitly part of the charge, I think the conversation was to bring it here in front of the committee and get this committee's opinion as to whether or not to expand the charge to allow at least a conversation. Ultimately, the charge for the field itself and anything that comes from the discussion of the scheduling will come back to this committee for review and voting anyways. So hopefully I'm giving the explanation as Mr. Brooks described it, but that's my understanding of it. Just to be able to explore the field scheduling, but not only for the new turf field, but in general have conversations with parties to get an expressed interest on field times in general.
Anyone?
I mean,
Madam Chair,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Dr. Conti, please.
No, I can't see you. I apologize.
Go ahead, Eric.
Bob, just correct me if I'm wrong. You mentioned you're using the term new fields. What you're talking about are existing fields with a new surface. We may be able to use them more frequently and more efficiently, but are we gaining, those are currently fields now that are used?
Correct. So the middle school field that I said is new will be a new surface of the field, which is currently in the scheduled rotation as it exists now. But the conversation for the field committee that Mr. Brooks is looking for is to have an overall conversation of field usage and times, just to get more input from all the groups. So we're
Okay,
not adding a new field. as you
I'm
all
going to
know.
go out on a limb here and say that it is not up to the school committee to decide that. If someone wants to include us at some point in a decision about field usage, that makes sense. But whether it's the athletic director or the rec department or any combination of those departments and individuals, I think it's their job to figure out the best usage.
Madam Chair, I think it's not necessarily about scheduling, it's about prioritizing. So right now,
Okay.
on school field, Bob, from after school, 3 to 6, usually the school varsity teams, JV teams, freshman teams have priority for scheduling, and this is about when youth programs have access to school fields and maybe the number of fields that are needed, and some of the youth programs feel or express that the younger kids are getting on the fields too late. So that's always been a point of contention. So, Chris, we're not going to ask the school committee to schedule events, but more talk about the number of services that we need and sort of who has access when and how those decisions are made. So currently, again, my understanding, Bob, is the school department has priority from 3 to 6 after school for school fields for school teams. Is that correct?
Correct, yes. Yeah, so we're not talking about anything that's outside of the school committee's purview. We're talking about athletic fields that are either on school property or that varsity or JV use first directly after school. Any other field in the town of Burlington, I don't want to say isn't part of the conversation, but those are the ones that are really in contention, that people are looking for. The turf fields are a high priority, et cetera. So again, I think the intent is really to have the conversation, and then if there's able to come up with any findings, obviously report back.
Okay. How do I want to say this? This is like old news in that every year, every field, the ice palace, the ice, everything, there's always issues relative to ice time, and it's important that we negotiate these things and figure them out and try to get younger children some time that isn't too late at night. So that's all well and good. Hopefully you can bring us something that is maybe a recommendation at some point, and we can bat it around and come to some conclusions.
Mrs. Monaco, I think that's the plan, and every once in a while, I think it makes sense to revisit what's always been done, and if the priorities have changed, or the numbers have changed, or some of the data we have. So we'll look at it. We might come back and recommend exactly what we're doing now, but I think it's worth talking about. I think Mr. Brooks just wanted to inform the committee that the charge of the middle school field committee was about getting the fields resurfaced and building some stands and sort of doing a building project. This is more of a management conversation.
Right.
So I think he was just wanting to inform the committee that we're going to be talking about that, but obviously we won't make any changes until that's discussed, obviously, by this committee and also the Park and Rec Board too. I mean, I think at some point those priorities were established. We just need to have those conversations. And I think there's some new youth group leaders that just want to be part of that conversation.
Okay. Any comment, Megan?
Yeah, being part of the meetings for the field committee, it's, we had members from recreation present, we had our athletic director present, and everybody seemed to support the idea of creating or having this discussion, creating a subcommittee to discuss this. So I think it's a good idea that we allow this conversation to happen and that we allow the committee to bring a recommendation to the school committee for a vote.
Excuse me a minute, I have to say hello to someone.
We have a visitor.
I heard the door open.
Everyone, I would like you to meet my grandson. This is Frank Paul Monaco III.
Hi, Frank.
Hey, Frank.
And he came to see us.
Public participation.
And I just wanted to continue my point that I think what Jeremy was interested in was having the committee be prepared to accept or review a recommendation. Let everyone know that it's coming, let everyone know that, all the stakeholders are present at these meetings, they're invested in creating or revising, looking at a memorandum of understanding about the fields and how we plan to prioritize them in the future. Thanks.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that this group will iron out what they think is the best way to proceed, and then they will include us.
Yes, so we'll be bringing a recommendation to the school committee to
Okay.
review. So it's not that we're making a decision in a subcommittee, it's that we're coming forward with something that has been voted on by the subcommittee to see if the school committee will approve
Okay.
and review.
Thank you for that. Dr. Conti, do you have anything else?
No, ma'am, that was well stated.
Okay, so we can move on. School climate survey discussion.
Yes, it will be in its, we'll be doing the school climate survey again. It will be launched in December. This will be the third year that we're doing this. And again, it will be put on Thought Exchange. And more information will be forthcoming by our Director of Mental Health, Christine Conceition.
Okay. Anything else on that? I think we're going to have a short meeting, guys. But at least we had a visitor. That was cool. All right. So Journey to Cares, Lisa?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, if you could. Thank you so much. The next slide, please. Thank you. These are some pictures of, again, Nicole McDonald. She often will host meetings with her student leaders, and also the presence of our counselors and administrators attending a 504 meeting with our school attorney, Tom Nettle. Also the attendance of several of our data meetings that district leaders and school leaders and teachers looked at when we're looking at both the iReady reports and also the Dibble reports. Also visitors from the preschool when they came and did their holiday Halloween parade. A clip from the Entering Monitoring Parent and Family Orientation that was held at both the LPAC and CPAC meeting. Next, please. There you have a picture of all of us with the instructional technology team, and also Dr. Conti attending AI conference at MIT, and Dr. Gail Levette providing DIBELS 8 training to all of our elementary teachers, our special education teachers who are elementary, our reading specialists, and also our ESOL teachers, and getting some more professional development on the writing revolution, and that happens to be in the right-hand lower corner. Next, please. We met with Dr. Joan Brinkeroff and Christina Ciccolini and looking at a review of preliminary findings of the tier monitoring review. And as I showed earlier, we had a meeting with Dr. Joan Brinkeroff of DESE and Dee Wyatts, of them telling about the tier monitoring review process because they will be visiting our schools in December. Also, as the picture showed, 504 training with school counselors and administrators with Christine Concession, the Director of Mental Health. Next, please. Also, at the same time, attended the AI Summit at MIT with Dr. Conti and members of the Instructional Technology team. Next, please. As the picture showed before, previously attended Writing Revolution meeting and Literacy Task Force meeting. Also planned for upcoming meetings with Tier 1 instruction with Dr. John Almroad. And those pictures that are below, I'll be talking about them in the next slide. Next, please. Digital learning coaches, Jennifer Boulis and Michelle Arzoni presented at the Magic School AI at the annual MassQ conference at Gillette Stadium. MassQ is one of the largest educational technology events in the country. Also, digital learning coach Michelle Arzoni also presented at the MassQ about how Francis Wyman is one-on-one iPad program as part of the session featuring the Apple Distinguished Schools. And digital learning coach Jennifer Boulis taught 4th and 5th graders from Francis Wyman how to use Canva application to create personalized magazine covers featuring students' hopes and dreams. Next, please. Again, as you saw earlier, we supported the DIBELS 8 training for all K-5 teachers, specialists, and administration on November 5th, a professional development day at the Northeastern University. Want to give a big shout out to Rosemary D'Souza and Jeffrey Marsh for their help up with the setup. Worked with the reading specialist team on Amplify intervention protocols, progress monitoring, and the coaching model. Collaborated with the special education team on plans for our landmark outreach partnership for the 2025-2026 school year. Next, please. All math specialists attended a 2-day math conference and again implemented writing and revision of a UBD unit with classroom teachers. Those were our math specialists, and attended PD with iReady with Dr. Kateri Thunder. Next, please. A big congratulations to Katie Sullivan. She is the Simon Youth Foundation Teacher of the Year for 2024-2025. We are so proud of Katie Sullivan's dedication to the ESOL teaching, the Alternative Day Academy, and the strength for connections with students that she has been recognized by the Simon Youth Foundation. Next, please. Really want to thank the LPAC-led Spanish-speaking parent group, analyzed data from all groups to identify themes, and also they attended the DESE's Educational Stability Orientation Training in Everett, Massachusetts. Next, please. The Director of Community Engagement hosted a table at Miles for mental health, to promote school-based mental health partnership and supports. Also, the Director of Mental Health applied for the DESE 311 grant supporting students' social emotional learning, behavior and mental health and wellness, and presented in all grade 10 health classes on mental health supports and services available to BHS students. Next, please. And in these particular pictures, we're going to talk about the Tomato Challenge, also our work with the town, and again, a lot of the services that we've been doing to bring together the town and also the schools. Next, please. 3rd graders at Francis Wyman, that was the picture before, hosted elected and appointed members of the Burlington Town Government as part of our Burlington Social Studies unit. A big thank you to town meeting members, Sarah Ellis, Tamara Maniscola, Jessica Sutherland, Kevin Spielberger, Bonnie Nichols, Christina Concession, as well as town moderator Bill Byer, Conservation Department Lucy Hanson, Recreation Department's Brendan Egan, and Town Clerk Amy Warfield for their participation. Sean Musselman and Wendy Palvachek attended the Mass Science Education Leaders Association Conference, and workshops included supporting multilinguals, language learners, high-needs students, customizing curriculum to increase student voice, science leading as a coach, and networking opportunities. Next, please. Congratulations to these students in the 2024 Tomato Growing Challenge. All students who participated received an award and a goodie bag of prizes. Want to congratulate first place Bianca Sinopoli from Memorial School Tomato. Her tomato weighed 14.11 ounces. Second place, Cora Hennessy from Francis Wyman. Her tomato weighed 13.65 ounces. Third place was Nathan Collins from Fox Hill. His tomato weighed 13.3 ounces. And fourth place was Harrison Marsh from Francis Wyman, in which his tomato weighed 13.1 ounces. The third graders at Memorial School are also observing their traits of the live hissing cockroaches as part of their life cycles, hereditary and variation unit. Next, please. CPAC and LPAC, as we showed earlier, we're co-hosting the meeting with DESE on the tiered focus monitoring. All special education staff attend the DIBELS 8 training, that are the elementary special education staff. We've completed our DESE state reporting. Next, please. Just wanted to remind all of us that we're still very busy in looking at the pathways. Part of these pathways is our equity work to ensure that there are no ceilings placed on students when it comes to taking high levels at math, both at the middle school and also at the high school. Next, please. As you can see, we're taking a look at finding out what these pathways are. And I've been talking about the middle school textbook adoption for Algebra 1. Been talking that quite a bit. And our plan is to come up with a textbook if we decide to use a textbook, and also to create some units so that we will be ready to launch Algebra 1 high school course in the middle school in 25-26. Next, please. This is a reminder of where we are when it comes to the K through 8 core curriculum program selection process. We're in the midst of looking at books. We're going to be looking at our fourth vendor, which happens to be Amplify and CKLA. Next, please. Want to highlight that on December 11th, we'll send out a Parent Square reminder that we're going to have a BPS literacy night. We will also have the vendors in which the 2 finalists of our core curriculum, so what parents will be able to see the core curriculums themselves, a K through 8. This is an important meeting. We'll also be putting out a parent survey to get parent feedback. And then that choice we'll analyze that choice, and then we will work on the final report, and then we will send our recommendation here before school committee. But again, a very important meeting with Dr. Gail Lovett, in which she's going to go over the process, the literacy task force, our selection process, and to our 2 finalists when we come up to the 2 book resources that we've taken a look at. That will be on December 11th from 6 to 7:30 p.m., and that will be at the Burlington High School auditorium. Next, please. Business and finance team. They've been working really hard to close out fiscal year 24. They're beginning to plan the district's fiscal year 26 budget. Next, please. The communication team attended the MassQ conference. Next, please. The communication team has been hard at work with Christina Concession, Director of Mental Health, to update all the 504 information and work on getting the capability of forms of digital signatures district-wide. And she's been collaborating with the interim literacy coordinator, Bonnie Nichols, and digital learning coach, Aaron Guanci, to create a resource website for all teachers to access the new literacy curriculum changes that are currently happening right now, and a beneficial teaching tools for all teachers presently right now as we're going through this transition process. Next, please. Also, she's worked hard with the Director of Health and Physical Education to send out parent information on health and wellness, and to talk about the opt-out forms when it comes to the family life curriculum. Grades 4 and 5 was held on November 6th from 6 to 7:30 for parents to know a little bit more about the curriculum at Francis Wyman in their auditorium. For grades 6 and 8, it will be held on December 3rd at Marshall Simons. Grade 6 will be from 5:30 to 6:30, so parents will be able to ask questions about what the family life curriculum or human sexuality curriculum will entail. No changes have been made, but we just want to make sure that parents if they want to attend, have the option to ask questions and to see the curriculum ahead of time before it's being taught to their students. And again, this is something that parents can opt out as well, too. Grade 8 for their children, grade 8 from 6:45 to 7:30. Next, please. Human Resource Team has been hard at work, working with the town's benefit office and open enrollment and employee benefits fair. They've also attended the Massachusetts Municipal Human Resource Association Labor Relations Seminar. They attended the DESE Licensure Update Workshop. Next, please. And they have focused on recruitment of per diem substitute teachers, bringing on 12 new subs since the beginning of the school year. Next, please. The nursing team has been hard at work at completing the comprehensive school health services through grant funding documents, and the state has approved the proposal. They've worked on Parent Square for parent opt-out options for the state mandatory screenings per state regulations. That is, again, parents can opt out for the state mandatory screenings per state regulations. Next, please. They're continuing to collaborate and work with the Burlington Board of Health to schedule and coordinate immunizations for students and families with limited or no health insurance. Next, please. The operations team has been hard at work with NRT reviewing bus routes. They've updated bus times to meet earlier arrival times. They even added a new bus, number 20, to the BHS morning routes. They've been working at Fox Hill to plan the new kitchen in the new building, to plan the playground. There's a new water heater for BECC. They hung 10 TVs and projectors throughout the district. There were roof repairs at BHS and the middle school. The boiler was retubed at the BHS, has been completed. Next, please. They performed lock hardware maintenance at Fox Hill. They met with the electrical engineer to plan the new generator at Francis Wyman. The parking lot light repairs at Memorial. They snaked a conduit on the varsity field for fiber optic cables. They repaired underground electrical service at BHS, and they set up for voting. Next, please. The technology team has participated in the Cyber 351 Incident Response Plan Forum in Lowell on October 10th. They attended the 8th Annual Boston Cybersecurity Summit held on October 29th. Next, please. And over the past few weeks, we've received cybersecurity training. This is all staff, and that's from No B4. Next, please. And finally, we end and wanted to give a very big shout out. Thank you to Beth Pandolfo. She was able to organize and bring in a whole bunch of the Bruins to Pine Glen so they could just be there and be with the students. And they gave a scholarship, I believe, of $3,000. And this was a great time for our students at Pine Glen. Thank you.
We should have asked my little grandson about it. He was there and loved every minute of it. Okay, any questions or comments for Lisa? A lot of work there. Okay, if there are no comments, thank you, Lisa, for that very comprehensive report.
Welcome.
And we move on to facilities and finance. So we have a finance report that Nicole sent out, but unfortunately, she's not able to talk to us about it tonight. So I would suggest, everything looked okay, no problems, no issues, but if anyone has any questions, anything they want to ask about that, maybe you could reach out to Nicole through email. Okay. All right, the next item is Fox Hill School Building Committee. Melissa.
Sure. We're still moving forward with the detailed design. We've had a number of working groups. I believe the staff have met a few times. I attended the exterior working group, so planning, still finalizing the the traffic pattern and some of the playground areas. We've had a lot of discussions about the canopy, so we're looking at options. It's just a very long front, and we're trying to get coverage for the most students without spending a fortune and without impacting the design. So more to come on that. We're down to one meeting a month, so we don't meet for a couple more weeks. But it's moving forward. We still expect to be complete next step in the spring.
Great. Any questions for Melissa? Okay. Dr. Conti, do you have anything to add to that?
No, just people working really hard, and the staff has, I just noticed there was I was at those meetings, a very marked change from going from the concept of a new school to the reality of a new school. I think there was a lot more excitement when they were looking at their classroom layouts. And again, I think the idea was always welcome, but now that it's taking shape, there was a lot more excitement. So certainly want to thank the school building committee and the town meeting again, and this committee for moving that well-needed project forward.
Yeah. Yes. Special thanks to town meeting for that wonderful vote. Okay. The next item is the Burlington High School Building Committee. Catherine?
Yeah, so our next meeting is Thursday at 6:30. We'll have more discussion on the presentations done for the different various plans that we looked at. I believe they're going to possibly present some pricing too, and they've also come up with another option. We had a BHS Community Outreach Working Group meeting, and we came up with a draft of what we want to accomplish on the Wednesday, November 20th meeting, which will take place at 6:30. So we've got that all put together and getting that all posted on the website.
Dr. Conti, you have anything to add?
Again, no, ma'am. I think just for the high school building committee members, I think this is a very important meeting on Thursday. So I just want to encourage everyone to attend however they can attend.
All right. Any questions, any comments? No? Anything new with Pine Glen, Bobby?
No new update.
Okay. Transportation update.
So again, I think some of it was discussed already in the in Dr. Chen's update. We did add a 20th bus or 19th bus, if you want to call it, but it's bus number 20 to the high school. So that relieves routes 11, 7, and 18 from some of the stops that were on there to try to shorten up and relieve some of the congestion on the bus itself. We also updated about 30% of the routes, including Fox Hill and middle school routes, to move them up a few minutes. I know I'm going to take some flack. My email said minor changes, and I just said a few minutes. I think the longest route change was 13 minutes, but typically a lot of the routes were in the 3 to 6 minute range. That being said, the intent of the move is to get, let's say at the first tier, buses to arrive right at that 7:15 to 7:20 minute mark, or 7:20 a.m. time, so that way students have enough time to unload the bus, get to their lockers, get breakfast if they so choose, and then get to their classrooms. Then that also gets those buses out earlier, so then we can start the second tier. And the ideal time for us to arrive at schools is about 7:55. Again, 7:51 is too early, and students will have to sit on the bus, so we do have a couple adjustments on a couple of routes that we need to make. What I say is typically on the 70-degree and sunny days when we hit no traffic and we don't hit any lights and we can just make it right into school, that's where we're kind of seeing. We've been fortunate that way the past couple of days, so students and buses are arriving earlier than we would like. But we're hesitant to make that adjustment yet, because what happens is if we push them that 4 or 5 minutes to that 7:55 mark, where we then get stuck with any construction, traffic, et cetera, that 7:55 turns into that 8:02, 8:03, and that's where we see the impact going into Tier 3. So we're just collecting data points right now to make sure before we just make change after day after day after day. So I just ask people to just be patient, and we are monitoring this to make sure it happens. Same thing for Tier 3 between Francis Wyman and the high school. We want those buses to be on the road by 8 o'clock, so then that way we can continue our routes and get to the high school in Francis Wyman by approximately 8:25, 8:30. Then that way students have time again to get breakfast and get to their lockers as needed. So definitely have received a lot of calls. I've been trying to answer as many as I can, been speaking to a lot of people. But please know that we are monitoring this, and the intent is that we want students to get to the schools and have enough time to get to their lockers and get breakfast if they choose. And if students are getting there too early, we will adjust those buses to make sure that they're getting there on an accurate time. But we just don't want to constantly be sending up an update, day after day. So we're giving it a couple of days' time. Unfortunately, we've had 2 weeks in a row where we have short weeks. So again, once we have a new route that comes out, there's a couple of days of learning curve. So right now, we're kind of in that pattern where we're doing good on the routes, but we just need to make sure that continues. So again, we'll continue to update it, and if we need to make any changes, I will get a message out to all those associated and make sure it's connected through Parent Square.
Okay, any questions?
Oh, if I could just add one more thing. It's definitely been brought to my attention and NRT's attention as well too, that the app has been having issues with notification. Every person that's contacted me, I've been relaying that message, and I know that NRT is working on it. There has been some positive feedback, but not for everyone. So again, I don't like it, but they're aware of it, and they're trying to find out what the issue is. So if anyone is having issues, please feel free to contact me, and I will pass that information along. But ultimately, the goal is to get that up and running again for everyone, not just some of the buses.
Okay. Anyone?
I just have a comment. I know you've been working really hard with NRT to get the high school buses to the high school earlier, and I have gotten positive feedback recently about students being able to, get to school, get to their lockers, get breakfast. So, all the hard work that you're putting in is paying off. So thank you, and thank you to everyone who's involved.
Okay, anything else? Anyone have any, thank you, Bobby, any new or old business for the committee? Okay, guess what?
The record time almost.
It's time.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned. Good night, everyone.